Good morning, everybody. Thank you for braving the cold, even though it's a little bit warmer today, which we're very appreciative of. So, thanks for coming. Any first-time attendees today? Yay! Awesome. Thank you for being here. So, for those that don't know me, I am StephanieParson, and I'm a full-time real estate broker with Keller Williams, and also help seniors by combining move management services with the real estate sale. And today, one of my fellow teammates is here, Sharon. She was doing the check-in, and we also have another agent from our office, Tony. He's here filming today. So we have over 50 years combined experience in real estate, and we specialize in working with seniors. We provide downsizing assistance, and the Senior Empowerment True Series, I created that because I found in working with seniors, a lot of them needed helpful guidance and resources for later in life transitions and decisions. So we provide free education and resources to educate, empower, and equip you, and we promise to tell you like it is. So we always want to be honest about things and find expert panelists and people who have servant hearts and are also have the same type of ethics that we have. So I do take care in picking our panelists, just so you know. So our topics are different every month, from downsizing to aging in place, wills and trust, unlocking the equity in your home, travel, caregiving, retirement living options, and even dealing with death. So that's kind of our synopsis there. So first time attendees, we hope that you will come back again and join us. So a couple housekeeping issues. So we will do our discussion from now till 11:15 with questions that I'm gonna talk to our panelists about. And we ask that you hold your questions till the end, otherwise we don't get to all the information that we had planned. So please hold your questions to the question and answer time at the end, and we've provided you with a handout so that you can take notes so you don't forget what you were going to ask, like I always do. And also, we have a no selling policy, so we're not here to sell you with any one person's services or product. We just want to enlighten you and make you aware of different options and resources out there. All right, so notebooks. You may have noticed we had a couple notebooks up front. If you're a new attendee and plan to come back in the future and would like a notebook, please let us know, and we'll be happy to bring that for you next time. And we also have a evaluation sheet that we ask. We love to get your feedback. We love to get your suggestions about topics or panelists, or if you want to have a consultation, have a conversation, whatever, put that on the evaluation sheet, please. So, all right, so that is the gist of everything. So we're going to get started. So our topic today is the truth about downsizing, finding value in selling and donating. So I think the biggest issue that I have found with people who are wanting to downsize is the issue of what to do with all the stuff. Has anybody else had that problem? And yeah, all of us. Okay, I think we as Americans, we have a lot of stuff, and in the Midwest we have basements, and we will fill those up too, won't we? All right, so we have 4 expert panelists with us today. So panelists, you want to please come up and have a seat. There's a step up there on the other side if you, this is kind of tall. And I will move my things here. We're short a microphone, so we're going to be sharing. Sorry about that. Theirs is broken, so will be some bumbling back and forth. Okay, well, guys, thanks so much for being here today. So let's start by each one of you just introducing yourselves. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, why you're here today. And we'll start with Jeff.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm here to say spring is right around the corner.
I hope so.
It just depends on what corner you're looking around. My name is Jeff Randall, and I represent Pennies in Your Pocket, or also known as PIYP, Estate Sales Services. And it's a company, family-based, and we've been doing it for over 20 years.
Can you hear him okay?
Yeah, is this better up here?
That's better,
Thank
yes,
you.
thank you.
And so I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to share a little bit about the downsizing, decluttering, the estate sale world, along with these other fine presenters here. And I would say, when you're thinking about downsizing or decluttering, or there's someone that you're representing their estate, they passed on, it's something you have to think about. It's not just about selling stuff or getting rid of things. It can be very emotional, it can be very stressful, it can be very overwhelming. And all of us up here, we understand that. And so it's not just about, like I said, just putting a price on an item or whatever. It's more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we want to just share with you that we understand that journey is going to be a little bit more than, again, just selling it to the next person.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Tony?
I'm Tony Thornhill with Higher Calling Auctions. I promise you, you will not have problems hearing me today.
Well, you talk fast, though.
If this doesn't work, I can use my voice, and I'm good at it. Now, Higher Calling Auctions has been around for 15 years, but I've been in the auction industry my whole life. I was adopted into an auction family, literally, so I've been exposed to it from the time I started to now. One thing that we do is we make sure that you understand value isn't in your mind. Value's in the final item. What you may consider valuable, we don't want you to be disappointed, so we're going to manage those expectations. Understanding through the process that we do, everything is a step that we're going to partner with you on. Like he said, don't do it alone. Talk to one of us, talk to somebody that you trust. Not everybody is ready just to make the cash money. There are people that are going to help you walk through the choice. So I'm blessed to be up here with this great panel.
Thank you. Leanne?
Hi, my name is Leanne. I'm with Lee's Trinkets. We're based out of South City, St. Louis, and we make it our mission to efficiently sell everything. We know that when you move, you have a lot of expenses, you have a lot of other things you're worried about, so we use all of our online avenues to sell your items. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Leanne.
I'm Kathy, and I'm with the Sharing Shed, and I'm a little different. Like, I wonder if my seat should be scooted over a little bit or something, because these three are kind of all playing in the same pool, and I'm in a different one.
No, we need you just as much as everybody else.
Right.
We are a charitable organization, and we give. We do not sell furniture and other household items to families who are starting over, either fleeing abuse or fires or floods or infestation or coming out of prison or homelessness. Once they secure new housing, then they get a referral to come to our facility, and they can come in and select furniture items and household items that they need. So we are kind of on the when you are ready to donate items, we will gladly take those as long as they kind of, if there are items that we use that clients want.
And we're gonna go through that list to
Okay.
let them know what those
Right.
things
Okay,
are.
great.
So, Sharing Shed is in O'Fallon.
Yes, we're
And-
located in O'Fallon, right off Highway 70.
So they are a great organization. I take a lot of things there. And so we appreciate what you guys do, and I know that you're a volunteer, so thank you for being a volunteer for them. So, okay. So we're going to dive into questions now. So we will kind of go back down to the other end and start out. So Duff, can you tell us briefly, how do you determine if you and a potential client are a good fit to work together? And what specific factors are you weighing when making a decision about whether to, accept a sale?
Sure, I do think being able to determine if it's going to be a good fit is very, very important as you are, looking at various companies to either do an auction or an estate sale, because you're going to be sort of married to them for a little time. And again, because what you're doing can be stressful and emotional, you want to feel very comfortable, safe, and feel like if you hand them whatever you're handing them, a key to your home, that you're going to feel comfortable doing that. And so I live a lot of my life with the old gut test. And if you meet someone and it just doesn't, deep down, it doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right, that's probably your best sign. Even, if you compare some of the different services that you might, if you're looking at 2 or 3 or 4 different companies and comparing prices and fees and everything, I think the ultimate decision should be, do I feel comfortable working with ABC company in doing this? Because I think it's very, very important to do that. Now, there are different ways of sort of, how do I find that other than just that initial meeting? Well, talk to others. Fortunately, probably for all of us up here, we get a lot of referrals. So people will say, hey, I'm looking for a company. Who do you recommend? Well, I recommend ABC company because I go there, or I shop online there, or I know someone who has used them. That's a great way to find, information about a business is.
So Jeff, how do you, if I can redirect you a
Yeah.
bit, how do you determine if your company is a good fit for a potential client?
Yeah, and I think it does go both ways on that gut feeling, because if I feel like maybe I'm not the right person or whatever, I have raised my hand and say, I'm not sure this would be a good fit for various reasons. But a big part of that is just communicating, talking to them. The phone, when the phone rings, and the first time you talk to someone on the phone, you can get a lot, I can, from just sort of that conversation. But then also, what are their expectations? Because if they have a lot or high expectations, or they're not really true expectations of the world in the estate sale, I look for that. And I will ask key questions, what are your expectations? What are your, thinking of selling this item or that item, that kind of thing. So it kind of goes back and forth as far as meeting with them. And it's not a quick. Sometimes I'm visiting with people for an hour. Doesn't have to be, but that's a good way to get to know people.
Yeah, and I know I worked with Jeff before, and we have met with clients, and he has said, you know what, this isn't a good fit. I'd love to work with you, but I'm not going to be the best option for you. So I appreciate that. Tony, how do you determine if you and a potential client are a good fit?
Well, Jeff started out by saying most of our clients are word of mouth referrals. 90% or better of my clients are word of mouth. And it all starts with a phone call. Now, like he said, I can get a lot of information out of a phone call, but I also can tell right off the bat if I'm going to work with you or not. Because on that phone call, I listen to what you're asking. Number one, are you going to have realistic expectations? Number two, are you trying to eliminate stuff that is not going to be market ready? For example, if you call me and say, hey, I've got all this stuff in the cellar that I haven't seen in 100 years, we're going to have to talk. Now, the next thing is for me, is I won't make a decision over the phone. It's not fair to you, it's not fair to myself. I will tell you on the phone that we'll schedule a time, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to look at your items. I'm going to assess your assets. And I'm going to give you one of three options. Yes, you've got enough stuff to have an auction. Let's move forward. No, you don't have enough for your own auction, but you may benefit to another auction, which we call consignment. Or three, I can't help you. Let me get you in touch with somebody else that does what you need. And then from there, as he said, it's that gut feeling. I'm probably going to be around for 45 days or longer. And if I can't have that good feeling that we're going to work together, I promise you, we're not going any farther.
Okay, Leanne.
So the main thing that I consider is time frame. We like to put a lot of care into our auctions. We thoroughly research. We can handle estates of one item or an entire estate. So you could start early, but you have to plan. You don't want to leave this up to the last minute because things get rushed. You don't get the most money for your items, and it's just messy. So that would be my advice to you, is to make sure that you plan and make sure that you have somebody lined up. Use your gut feeling, somebody that aligns with your morals. There are clients that I've had to turn towards other companies just because I knew their expectations were different than what I could achieve. And that's okay, but it's good to have time in order to do that. And you don't want to be rushed at the last second. You have to be out of your house and you don't know where to go with your stuff. That's very stressful.
So one of the things I want to clarify here is all four of you deal with helping, I guess, sell or, repurpose things for other people. But it's all done in different ways, okay? You all kind of have your own niche. So, Leanne, you do, correct me if I'm wrong, online sales only?
I do in-person sales. I prefer online, just because you have a longer time frame to find a good buyer with a price that we all want. I do total estate auctions online, and I also have a few online stores, Poshmark, Etsy, eBay, for extended consignment sales. So my goal is to get the best price. It's not just to give your stuff away to people. So.
And one other thing I want to clarify about your services that I think is different, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is that you will go in and take everything that's left in the home.
Yes.
Like, you guys go ahead, take what you want, move out, leave the stuff behind, and you're going to come in and pack it up and take it out.
Yes, we do that. There are various fees associated depending on the state of your estate. We do trash removal. We will pack and move stuff because I know you don't always have the manpower to do that. And then we sell it to the best of our ability, and we work with various organizations to donate the rest. We try our best not to throw anything away. If that means scrapping metal, then we do that. Recycling, all of that. We try not to go to the dump. So.
Thank you. Okay. So, Kathy, anything you want to add along that line?
As you would maybe be considering donating furniture and other household items, we do pick up items. If you live in St. Charles, St. Peters, O'Fallon, Lake St. Louis, or Wentzville,
St. Charles County.
St. Charles County, 63301 is, that's kind of a possibility. It's a little bit past our range, but sometimes if we have 2 calls from 63301, we will make a trip up there. We have a website, thesharingshed.org, that gives a pretty detailed list of items that we accept and items that we don't accept. We also will come into your home, whereas some companies who will come and pick up furniture, they will not come into your home. We do offer that, but it's main floor only. So if your beds are upstairs or if you have a couch in the basement, we do need them on the main floor, but we will come in and ask for a $20 donation. And that happens, that is mentioned to you at the phone call, where you would make a phone call to set up the pickup. We are currently scheduling a month out now, though. Usually it's about 2 weeks, but we're super swamped right now. So it is a longer wait period. If you are wanting to donate your items and we can't get to you fast enough, sometimes we just suggest maybe renting a truck, or if you have a friend with a pickup truck, you can bring it by our facility, even if it's too far out for us to be able to pick it up. We'll still accept the donation.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a truck. I mean, you can have boxes of household items.
But if
in
it's
the-
furniture, you probably need a truck, but
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So-
Be surprised at what we've seen come out of the auctions.
So Kathy brought up a good point about timing. So you guys are like, somebody needs to plan a month in advance if they would want to donate for, or have a pickup to donate to you guys. Let's work back down the line and talk about how far in advance does somebody need to contact you to see if you're a good fit for their items and arrange for all of this to happen with their whatever items they're looking to get rid of from their state.
I would say a minimum of 1 month. I prefer a couple months out, but obviously that's not feasible for everybody. At least a month, because then we can do it right. I mean, if it's a rush job, it's possible, but we just want to do it the right way, have enough time for everything. So I would say at least a month for me.
Okay, thank you. Tony?
For us, our process, the only variable in my entire process is how long it's going to take me to catalog. So when I walk through the house and look, I can get an idea about how many days, how long it's going to take to actually lot and catalog the items. And once we get done with that process, our process is about 21, 27 days with pickup included. So for us, we would prefer that you don't call us and say, hey, we need it out tomorrow, like all of us would. But we're looking at, can we stage it out 45 days? Because then we can work an auction, build an auction, and what helps is being able to see everything playing out. So we look at 45 days to 60 is about our sweet spot timeline. We can go quicker, but it's a lot tougher. And I promise you that's harder for all of us. If you go quicker, we miss things. And I don't want to miss anything, and I feel bad when I find it.
That's just like a real estate transaction. I mean, you can make it happen quicker, but we might be, doubling up on things and miss something because it's not our normal schedule.
Yeah, I would say this too. Remember that you can control the timing, meaning that even though there are other people and other professionals involved, keep in mind and that it's your preference of timing. If you need a month, if you need whatever, and you can sort of make sure that happens. I think that's important because again, this is a very stressful time. But for us in our business, a lot of times we're not even in the house setting it up until the week of the sale. So and part of the reason why we can do that is we have staff, we have people that can go in and set up a house starting on Monday and be ready to go that weekend. Now, if it's a bigger home or situation, an estate sale company might need more time. Ideally, we would like to have, maybe the week of, and if we need a day or two, the week before. But the other thing is that the companies don't want to spend all that extra time too, because if you're paying staff to touch things and move things, that's not necessarily what companies want to do as well to kind of keep the fees down, the prices down. But really, you know, a month would be great, but a couple of weeks, for our experience, is pretty much what we look for. The estate sale world, I can just from that standpoint, a lot of times we get a call, we're sort of the, oh, by the way, I didn't realize I just got a contract on my home, or something just happened, and by the way, now I have to have an estate sale. So we're that, by the way, we need that, and so we're able to adjust quickly.
And I don't do that with my clients.
No, you
We're
do
talking
not.
about this
No.
in advance, so we have a plan.
Yeah, and a lot of the realtors that I've worked with, no, you're absolutely right. They will factor that. It's that person that is either not selling their home necessarily or using a realtor, that they're the ones that are calling and sort of, oh, what do I do?
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Just to clarify something for you, and I know you do the same thing, when they come in and they say that an estate sale company can come in a week in advance or give them 10 days, give them 2 weeks, they're lotting in place. They go in and they add
So
the price.
what is lotting?
Lotting is, when we talk about lotting, any one of us, is how the item is represented. How many people have ever bought a case of soda? That's a lot. Now, how many people have bought M&Ms? You buy them by the single package, not the single piece, right? That's a lot. But if we think that it's better, give you a perfect example, somebody brought in a bag of arrowheads. Most of the time, those arrowheads are just collected together. That would be a lot. But we went through and we found them, we looked at them, found the ones that had the really good points, and separated that individual item. That becomes a lot. So understand when we're talking about lotting, that's how we're representing your items. Okay? So the point that I was making is, for us, we actually have to photo the lots. For us to be online, we have to take the photos and move it and reset and do different things. Whereas an estate company comes in and they're tagging in place.
So, yeah, if I can hold that for a second. So I was getting at the different niches that you have. So for clarification purposes, Jeff, your company does on-site, in-person estate sales. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah, we do on-site, and as Tony indicated, yeah, it's a different process because we're not necessarily taking it somewhere else or putting together lots, because we can, price it in place, if you will, take the picture in place. So it is a little different, it's definitely a different process, but we are on site. So we're gonna go into the home, and we're gonna display the items. So people are gonna come into the home, they're gonna buy, like I say, shop the house, go room to room. If there's something they wanna buy, they pick it up, take it to the cashier, pay for it, and out the door they go. So that's the estate sale process.
Yeah, okay, but you do take pictures of
Right.
everything or just some things?
Well, my wife is the one who really takes the pictures. Now, we have more than one, but she's like the picture crazy person, because she will take, and we're able to take yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. But I love her very much. But my wife will take hundreds of pictures because we can. There are some packages when you put on estatesales.net that you might only be able to put 50 pictures on, or we have no limit. And what we have found is that the more pictures that we put up, the better sale we have, more people show up, people are engaged, they'll go back to the website over and over to see if there's more pictures coming, to see, so it is amazing. But yes, she will take as many pictures, so she will, shoppers will have a good idea of what's there. And even the little, nickel and dime items or dollar items here or there, those are still featured too. They might be in a group setting or, maybe not individually, but everything of value, $5 or more, which is not a high value, but $5 or more, typically get pictured and added, and that's important.
Okay, thank you. So, you do in-person estate sales.
Right.
Okay. Leanne, you will do, you do the more the clean, pack everything up, take it back to your site.
Yes, I have a warehouse where we do our auctions, we stage items, take pictures of them, and we hand pick more valuable items from your estate for extended consignment sales, if that's okay with you guys. If that works with your time frame, just because it's more efficient.
Okay.
But basically all online.
Okay. And you take pictures,
Yes,
put them online.
we take pride in our pictures
Okay.
and doing it
Okay.
nice.
So I'm sorry, Tony, I think I interrupted what you were saying before, but can you also elaborate on?
So I'm the mix. We do online auctions, and we can do them at your home, which is where we prefer to do them because we can make this a lot faster, a lot easier than having to pack it up and move it to a location. But if we can't do that, time doesn't allow us to do that. We do have a building, we can bring them in, and typically those become consignment auctions for us. We have the option, and Jeff was asking earlier, what determines if it's a live auction or an online auction for us? We can do live auctions, but there's some very strong factors that are in place for us to even consider it. Number one, the items that you're going to sell are going to stay within a 150-mile radius. Typically, live auction, that's what it draws. That would be stuff like your antique furniture, your Amish-made furniture, your equipments, things of that nature, farm equipment, whatever. We have those. Two, do you have the place for parking? If you're expecting to have a live auction and you want 50 to 400 people show up, do you have the parking? Trust me, we've had auctions where we've had 400 people trying to get in a house. It's not cool. The third thing is weather. What happens? We live in the Midwest. We woke up the other day and it was 14 inches of snow. What happens if that's sale day? Do we have a reservation plan? Is there a way that we can do it? And the last thing is, do you have the space to actually display it? And if any of those four are missing, we're going to suggest the online auction because it is by far the best tool we have in our toolbox right now.
Okay, thank you. And then did everybody understand they were talking about lotting things and cataloging it? Did everybody understand that? Okay, all right, just wanted to make sure, because when I first ventured into this, I'm like, people keep talking about lots. What are lots? I'm like, lots to me are land lots.
So how I would explain it is if you have a really valuable vase or vase, and that will be one lot and we will picture it as itself. But if you have a kitchen cabinet full of these reusable mugs that I've seen on the water bottles and stuff, I mean, they're not worth more than $1 each. So we'll put them all as one lot and somebody can buy the whole lot and bid on that as a
So
group.
you put like things together sometimes to
Yes.
help just
Yes.
get it
Sometimes
moved.
it can be origination of the item, Japanese items, German items. Sometimes they can be color coordinated. It really just depends on how we're feeling, value, and everything. But we try to make it really efficient. So.
Okay, thank you.
The key element to that is you must trust the provider that you're asking to do this. Please understand that because what she considers a lot based on her experience may be different than mine, may be different than Jeff's. So when you talk about this, please understand that it is going to be based on the experience, knowledge, and skill of the provider that you're asking. No two people generally lot the same. Just understand that. So it is a variable process.
Interesting. Okay. So let's talk about how far away you will go from, like, what's the area that you would do an in-person estate sale?
Today, I would go to Florida. Well, for us, we really don't have boundaries in the sense that we won't go past this highway or this zip code or whatever. We just feel like if there is a person that has a need, and that's what we do to try to fulfill that service, we will consider it. We go on the other side of the river, Illinois. On the Missouri side, we go south, north. We've been to Warrenton, Wentzville. We've been to, so for us, we will consider just about any area within reason. So we don't necessarily have like I said, a kind of a dividing line. But I know that there are some companies that might have that for various reasons. But I'll tell you the reason why I think it's important to consider a company that sort of goes out and far and wide is because one of the things that you establish if you've been doing this a long time is a following, a loyal following of shoppers, buyers,
Great point.
whether it's online or on site. So if you are going to be in Wentzville, which is a little bit further out versus Kirkwood, hopefully that company will have a following in Wentzville because a lot of people are not going to drive, say, from South St. Louis, South County to Wentzville, vice versa. So I think that's important to consider when you're looking at companies of sort of, are they willing to go out fairly far with the hopes that if they do, they probably have a pretty good buyer loyal base. And I think that's important, especially for the on-site estate sale companies. That's very, very important.
Yeah, okay, good point.
So the physical answer to that is about 75 miles from St. Charles. We will go out farther. We can. If somebody wants us to go farther, I'm licensed in Missouri, I'm licensed in Illinois, I'm licensed in Wisconsin. If somebody wants me to go farther, if I can get the auction allotted and cataloged in 5 days or less, then we'll extend out past that. But I've built such a friendship and network in my professional auctioneer associations that at a certain point, I'll just refer to them. Now, as for the actual distance, because we're online and we have a huge network with us, my auctions get broadcast across the United States. And I do have people that will drive in for items because they bought them on the auction. So it's all based on the personnel. He's absolutely correct. If you build that following, they're going to come to a point. But the exposure for us is nationwide.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Tony said, I do stay within about a 50-mile radius of St. Louis City and the surrounding counties, but there are a lot of small towns. I've had clients in DeSoto. I've even gone as far as Peoria, Illinois, that don't have as big of a community for estate sales and resale, and they can't find companies. So if we come up with a plan and a deal and an agreement on gas and hotel fees and all of that, then we will go farther just to help somebody out, bring it back to our warehouse and make it happen.
Okay, so Kathy, let's get a little bit more information from you. I know you said there was a radius for pickup, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they can always bring it to you guys.
Correct.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about what are some of the items that you guys accept and don't accept. Okay.
Great question. Since we provide the furniture to our clients free of charge, we do accept used mattresses and box springs. That's one thing that sets us apart from some other organizations. Most other, St. Vincent de Paul, Salvation Army, those are great organizations, but they cannot take beds because they can't resell them. We give ours so we can take beds. So that's one thing that we're kind of unique in. They obviously need to be in good shape, no rips, stains, tears, broken parts. But yes, so we do take beds. We take the basic furniture items for someone starting over. that has a home but nothing in it. So kitchen tables and chairs, dressers. Dressers are huge. We are always needing dressers. Couches, coffee tables, end tables, lamps, area rugs, mattresses, box springs, headboards. We don't take king-size beds because our clients have smaller spaces typically, and we don't have room in our warehouse for them as well. We don't take china hutches, which is so hard when you have a beautiful dining set that is the table and the chairs and the hutch and the buffet. We'll take your table and chairs. But those other pieces are not basic essentials for someone starting over. So some of those pretty things we can't do. We take linens that are in good shape, both bathroom linens and bedroom linens. We take brand new like shower curtain liners. If you have like a package of those in your house, we take brand new pillows, but we don't take used pillows. We do not take office furniture, outdoor furniture. We don't take sports equipment or things like that. It's really just setting up a household with the basics.
And you don't take clothes.
Correct. We don't take clothes. And we take dishes, but we don't take good china. The problem is our clients, most of them have a bunch of kids running around and they don't want things that are that pretty. So they want, in fact, a lot of them even choose plasticware over like stoneware dishes. But we do take those other kinds of dishes.
So I think the great thing about particularly the sharing shed versus, you mentioned some other places that I have definitely taken items to, but they do sell it to the public, okay, nothing wrong with that. But the folks that come to shop at your warehouse, these are folks that have been vetted and truly have a need. Is that?
Yes, that is correct. And we previously had a policy where we would only see a client once lifetime. So they can't keep coming back for more and keep coming back for more. We have had to kind of make some adjustments there with that. So now we're like, okay, if we helped you 5 years ago or longer, and you can give us a reason as to why you're in this position again. So we're trying to offer some grace to those people that are just really struggling, and then struggling again. So we do help clients on a repeat basis, but we're pretty strict about what the scenario needs to be for us to do that.
So I mean, your place is awesome, and I haven't seen it since you guys, are you back open again?
We are. We
Okay.
renovated in December. We had some donations. We got some new flooring, and some people donated their labor, so things have been painted. It's really a cool facility, and if you want to come by sometime when we're open just to walk around and see what we have and see how we help people, we love to give little tours like that. That's one of my favorite things to do, because most people will say, I had no idea this was here. I didn't know this was a thing.
And it's a very dignified way
Yes, yeah.
of
Thank
folks
you.
being able, to
It
get
looks
these
like,
free
I
items.
mean, okay, so the furniture is kind of crowded together in the warehouse, but like our housewares, it's set up in a room that looks like a home. So there's like linens that are in like dresser drawers that are pulled out so they can see the linens. And there's like a little table set. So I call that the pretty room. It's the boutique where we take them to pick out some of those items. And, we don't ask them questions about their story, but so many of them feel comfortable enough that they share their stories with us. And that's just a really cool piece about being involved at the Sharing Shed.
And pretty much does everybody that works there is volunteer?
Yes, we are all volunteers except our executive director draws a paycheck. But we have crews of people that work, and they're usually like maybe a group of teachers that come in together once a month. We try to schedule our volunteer groups once a month just so that they're regular and they can really get the flow of it. So on Monday and Wednesday evenings, Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and Saturday mornings, those days currently we have volunteer crews come in and cleaning furniture, inventorying items that come in, serving the clients. So it's very volunteer run.
And I know when we were on the phone talking before, I don't think, Tony, you were familiar with the sharing shed?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, and Leanne, I know it's a little bit out of your normal area, but you work out here, obviously, so I think it was a new place for you as well. Steph, have you ever dealt with them?
I have heard of it, and people have talked about it, very positive and very happy that it was there and available, and so yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah. And then I know Kathy was talking to somebody about, you have kind of a counterpart on the St. Louis side, Home
Yes.
Sweet Home.
Correct.
That does kind of operates the same way. So, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, it's a great organization. So, let's talk about things that are the bane of your existence. Those things that,
Chocolate cake and Pepsi?
no. In regards to sales and donating, Kathy, let's start with you. You kind of mentioned a few things.
Right, so, if it's not a furniture item that you would give a friend, then we probably wouldn't take it either. I mean, it could have been a, beautiful, expensive piece, but if it was purchased in the 50s or the 60s, it just might not be something our client would choose. So they need to be, I'm gonna say current-ish. We have a large warehouse, and currently, like I said, we are scheduling pickups for a month out. So our warehouse is very full of furniture. So it just needs to be in really good shape and something that you would use yourself or give to a friend. Because sometimes we get stuff dropped off, like the people that drop and run, and then we see why they dropped and ran. So it needs to be something in good shape.
Okay. And you specifically mentioned like China hutches is something.
Correct,
that you-
sadly. And like entertainment center armoires, those nice big beautiful things that we all paid a lot of money for a couple decades ago, we can't take those because they don't fit current TVs. People don't have the space for them. Also, real large sets of bookshelves that would like flank a fireplace or something in a beautiful room. Our clients don't have that kind of space. So then we end up having to take it to the dump and pay, and that's painful for us too. So just considering the fact that these are clients that are starting over, they need stuff that's sturdy, durable, attractive, and that will fit their spaces.
Okay, thank you. So Leanne, what are some of the items that are your bane of existence?
Precious moments. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Norman Rockwell, your 180-piece china sets that you've had for so long. I know, it's so special to you, but they are hard sellers unless you get lucky. Like Kathy was saying, entertainment centers are hard. Dining room tables and dining room sets, I know once were really expensive, and there are consignment shops that I'm happy to refer that can probably get close to what you're looking for, but in an auction and a quick resale that we do, dining room sets are hard to get top dollar for. Yeah, because if you're buying secondhand, you don't want to pay a lot. Anything else? A lot of just clear glassware. I know it's special to you, and I know it's really pretty, but they are hard to sell, unfortunately, in the real world.
Okay, thank you. Tony?
If you ask me what I absolutely hate selling the most, without hesitation, I will tell you Avon, Avon, and Avon. Now, there are some pieces of Avon that do well, but the chances are probably not. Just to build on these two, and I'm sure you'll say the same thing, the furniture is so hard to sell because we live in an IKEA world. If it doesn't have an Allen wrench and can't be disposed of overnight, they don't want it. And that's the problem, because when you go to the stores, everything has an Allen key now. And I can put it together in 2 hours. And then if I don't like it tomorrow, somebody else will take it. But I'll go get something else. So we keep that in mind. So furniture stuff for us. And my absolute crazy thing other than Avon is coffee cups. I'm not sure, I love coffee, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure how anybody can look at coffee cups, random coffee cups, and say, I need to add 10, 15, or 20 of those to my collection. And it never fails. That lot will get bought every time from the coffee cups.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the things that have been mentioned are exactly what I would say too. Dining room furniture is hard. You can't hardly give it away. Well, you can't give it away. She said they won't take it. So that is, but I will, the other thing too, these wonderful colored or painted plates that they have on the walls, and they're up high with a little bit of dust on them. I think what they're good for, and again, I don't want to offend anybody because, for the right person, they can be beautiful. But I think today, what they would probably be mostly sold for is, if you go out into a large field and you say pull, and someone, isn't that terrible? But it's funny because people we go into houses and we'll see a lot of those that they bought. They spent a lot of money, probably $50, $100 for a plate, and if we get two, we're having a party. $2, yeah. If we get $2, we're having a party. Precious moments. She mentioned precious moments, and there's a saying that, do you know what a precious moment is? It's one that hits the ground and breaks into 1,000 pieces. Isn't that terrible? But I mean, it's because people are they paid a lot of money for those. And no one wants them. So people will ask me, what should I be buying that will maybe go up in value for like investment or whatever? And I say, look, no. You
Real
don't buy
estate.
Huh?
Real estate.
Real estate. But you don't do that. You buy what you like. If it goes up, wonderful. If it doesn't, Jesse Barnes prints. I can't tell you how many times we walked into a sale and the daughter says underneath the bed there are some prints, and we pull out maybe 200 prints of Jesse Barnes with the thought that their mother loved Jesse Barnes, but also every time a print came out, they bought one or two thinking that they were going to go up and up and up, and that was going to be their retirement. But I will say this, buy what you like. Don't look at it as resale. Buy what you like, enjoy it during your lifetime. If you have a sale online or on site, people who buy it, they're going to enjoy it. You're going to pass it along if you enjoy it. If not, so what? You did. But the other thing too is you have to trust your company that you hire when it comes to pricing. Because we are in this, we sell stuff every day, every weekend, and we know what the market is, the fair market value, what they're selling for. So when we say that this is probably what you're going to get for it, you've got to trust them, because a lot of people want to price, have that emotional value, and it doesn't work. What will happen is you can price it with that, I feel like it should be this. You won't sell it. You've just shown it for a weekend or whatever time it's on online. So trust whoever you hire that when they say this is probably what we're going to get, that they're going to be able to justify why that is, so you'll understand it and be able to do that for you.
I think that's
important.
probably the biggest complaint that I hear from people, based on past experiences when they have had sales is, they priced everything so low. I can't believe that this only went for that or whatnot. So I think people that aren't dealing with it every day have a different perception of what the actual value is when you're trying to eliminate it. So, do you want to speak to that, Tony?
So for me, when I talk with my clients, and I never will guarantee a value, and I don't believe anybody should. Nobody up here can guarantee anything, because you can't guarantee us three important elements. You can't tell us who's coming to look at the item. You can't tell us how many times it's going to be viewed, and you can't tell us what the purchasing power is and who's bidding or wants it at the same point. Those are all things that create value. But when we talk to our clients, we tell them, say, look, it's kind of like an ocean. It's going to level out. You're going to have some things in your mind that you think should sell way up here, and it doesn't. And then you're going to sit back and you're going to watch, and something that ridiculous in your mind, remember, don't throw anything out until you talk to one of us, because what you throw out is probably what they look at. But that thing that you have no idea what it is, you're going to sit back and you're going to say, why in the world would they bid that much on that? So it balances out. So keep that in mind, that when we talk about the trust factor, we understand that everything levels out based on the market.
Just piggybacking off of the trust factor, we do price things lower, and especially if we're doing auctions, the bid does have to start a little bit lower than face value. My tip to you guys would be to stay off of eBay. I tell all of my clients this. If you have an item that could be worth a lot, if you look at what some random person in a different state listed it for on eBay and then come to me expecting to get that price, it's kind of unreasonable. Just because I don't know why they even priced it that high. It's not selling for that, and they could have it sitting on their shelf for months. But with traditional and online estate sales, we have a short time frame to sell. So we price to sell, because if it's left over and it doesn't sell, then we have to get rid of it and we got no money for it. So that's kind of how we look at it. We do use our expertise to get the best price. Obviously it's beneficial to both parties, but yeah, just eBay is a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like in us talking to potential sellers, and they say, well, the house down the street is listed at, 500,000, mine's better, so it should be 600,000. And we're like, yeah, that house down the street's overpriced though, and that's why it hasn't sold. You can't look at, what you're competing up against always and say, okay, we need to go higher. It just doesn't work that way. So yeah, stay off eBay. Good tip. So let's talk about the hot items that sell really well. You got some examples of that?
Yes,
Okay.
precious metals always.
Not precious moments.
Precious metals, gold, silver, platinum,
Bronze, stuff like that. Yes.
copper.
Yes.
Copper a precious metal?
I don't know.
It is in the right circumstance. Under most certain categories, you won't find copper items. You'll find copper in wiring, copper in tools, copper in things of that nature. So copper is, yes, it is a valuable asset, not something you're normally going to find by itself.
Okay.
Furniture-wise, mid-century modern items, so they have a sleeker look to them, antique style with the wood carving, generic styles like that are not as in right now. A lot of stuff from the 60s, 70s, simple stuff is in right now. Colorful glassware, uranium, if anybody has a uranium collection
Yes.
that glows under black light, that will be a huge seller.
I don't even know what that
Green
is.
pressure glass.
Oh, okay.
It's lime green, but
Yeah.
if you light a black light on, it glows. And there are collectors that come from all over to find uranium, and they will bid like crazy. Blows my mind every time.
Okay. So those are a couple things that sell really well right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Tony?
For us, it's pretty simple. Firearms, jewelry, sporting goods, fishing tackle, automobiles and equipment.
That's all guy stuff.
No, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
When we talk about jewelry, a lot of times costume jewelry, and vintage. This is the only time that you'll ever hear me say we talk about clothing. Vintage clothing in the auction process is wild. So it's really cool. Now, ladies, I know she said that all sounds like guy stuff, but here's the reality of it. Ladies' items get held onto by families. They get passed down. So while I tell you that it sounds like this, it's easy. Pardon, and I'm not trying to be mean when I say this. It's easy to sell dad's wrench. It's hard to sell mom's ring. So if you'll remember that, we try to always talk to our clients, what sells good? There are derivatives that sell really well, and there's some things that the emotional value never leaves. So that's why that comes up like that.
So you're saying it's hard to sell mom's ring from the...
Well, we don't sell mom.
sellers. No, mom's ring.
Right.
From as far as me being the owner of it now, it's hard
That's
for
correct.
me because of the emotion.
Because that's correct.
Okay. Jeff?
Yes, you mentioned mid-century furniture. That's still a very popular item. And old metal toys from the 50s and 60s. I can sell that all day. Tools, depending on what they are, but I mean just about pretty much any tool. But and they can go for some good money depending on what kind of tool you have, what kind of wrench, that kind of thing. But tools go well. Vintage clothing, I would agree that vintage clothing can really go well. And the smaller pieces of furniture, like small, tables, like side tables or things that are practical, that a lot of people who need it, but they don't want the big pieces of furniture, or they're downsizing their home, so they need a little desk, but they don't want a big desk. Smaller pieces of furniture. The other reason why is because they can pick them up and throw them in the back of the car. Most of the people who pull up to an estate sale, 90% of the cars are SUVs now, or trucks, so you can just throw them in the back. So those are, and then I would also say, anything in the garage, yard tools, those are good sellers too. But everything that they said, men's jewelry, because there's a lot of sales that have women's jewelry. We can sell that every weekend. There's a sale with women's jewelry. But when you get a good selection of men's jewelry, cufflinks, men's clothing can also be a good seller, because again, there's not a lot of that out there at typical sales.
So are you saying like men's jewelry can sell good?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
That kind of surprises me.
And depending on their clothes, that can go well. Just hunting gear, as well as just nice shirts, because again, a lot of sales don't have men's.
Okay. So that brings up a great thing. You're talking about clothes. You guys will sell literally clothes that are in the closets and like cleaning products that are in the home.
Yes, that's another thing. It's amazing. Cleaning products, half can of detergent, Dawn or whatever. It's amazing that will sell all day long. And if you go to you go to the store and you pay $5 for. It's great. And you go to a sale and you can get it for $1 or whatever. But those are very popular items. So here's what because people will ask me, well, what sells? What should I sell? What should I keep? What should I throw away? And I tell them this, especially if I haven't even seen the house yet. And Tony alluded to this. Do not throw away anything until you have a company come and look at it. Because I can tell you're probably throwing away some money. And even the things that you think, oh, they're not going to buy this. You got to realize, people are buying things too for different reasons, for different purposes. They might be buying things that you think, like those old linens, oh, I wouldn't buy those. People will buy, they'll send them to third world countries, they'll send them to animal sanctuaries, they'll repair furniture. Some of the furniture that the seat is torn out of it, throw it away. No, someone will put that in their yard and put a plant in it, or something. So do not throw away anything. Now, if it's trash, stained, broken, get rid of that. But if you're not sure, I wouldn't get rid of it until you have a company come and look at it. One of the first things, and I think I understand why, especially when someone has lost a loved one, the first thing they want to get rid of, they want to go through the closets and get rid of the clothing. I think that's more of an attachment. And I understand that. I get it. If that helps you heal through the grieving process, get rid of it. But if not, because people say, well, I was going to donate it. Well, have the sale first. What doesn't sell, donate it.
Yep. Now you've got choices.
So that's what I would recommend as far as like, don't try to second guess what's going to sell. You'll go crazy.
Yeah, Leanne?
Whenever he mentioned the cleaning products, a lot of you guys had some crazy looks on your faces.
I have a story about it.
But it's important to remember the people that come to estate sales and auctions. There are some top spenders and collectors and stuff, but a lot of it is they're people looking to shop secondhand. So, I mean, a pack of paper towels have really gone up in the store. So if you can go to an estate sale and get 4 rolls for $1.50, I would do that because it's cheaper, it's better. So a lot of people that are coming to estate sales are looking for a lower priced item or a lower priced shopping experience versus going and buying something at the highly inflated price that it is now.
Just a real quick story to kind of show what this happens. I mentioned earlier, I've been in the auction industry my whole life, and we specialized. I've been in it to where you'd go and see the live auctions, and they would put a row of items on the floor, and 2 people would stand at the middle, and they'd say, we're going to sell between me. So, for example, it'd be me and Stephanie. Everything between me and Stephanie, it's choice. And people would buy, and they'd pick out, and we'd sell it again, and we do this, and we do that. And at the end of the day, there's still trash here. When we take these pictures online, perfect example, here's where this come in. We open the cabinet under the sink. All of you have the same stuff under the sink, right? And probably if I ask, 90% of you don't remember everything that's under the sink. I don't. We take a picture of the stuff under the sink, put it online, sell it. A guy drives in for 2 hours. Now that wasn't all he picked up, but he picked up everything. He drove 2 hours into the auction, went to unload that, took everything out of there, and then come complain because there was a bottle of Dawn dish soap that wasn't in the picture. It was on top of the sink. If you don't believe that they will take everything, trust me when I tell you, they will take everything. Dawn soap, whatever's in that picture better be there. So when we lot it, we try intentionally. We have fun with it. I'm sure you guys do too. We try to find the item of the sale that's going to be the surprise. And it typically is under the kitchen counter.
I just want to add one more thing. Yeah. We also, in our auction house, we have a cardboard box that we will take anything that is broken, like a porcelain figurine if it's broken. We add it to our broken bin and we sell that as one lot. And people will buy it that are crafty, make mosaics and stuff like that out of it, anything glass. And it's kind of overflowing right now. I need to get rid of it. But yeah, people do buy that stuff for sure.
So let's talk about the stuff that, because you said, don't get rid of anything, have a sale, and what doesn't sell, then you can donate. Okay, so what do people do with the leftover stuff? Do you guys help with that? Do you do buyouts? Do you refer them to somebody? What about the stuff that doesn't sell?
So when we assess a situation, if there is trash, we will add in a trash removal fee and get rid of it on site. We'll get a dumpster and all of that. But we try to take everything, and then whatever doesn't sell, it's already off-site for you guys, and then we will donate the rest. We work with a couple local organizations, but we handle it all. And we try to stay away from buyouts just because it's not really fair to you guys. We're not going to offer a good price. So we try to push towards auctions so that we can get the most money for you guys.
Once it becomes, the sale happens, we see what is still remaining. Now you have 3 options. The seller gets to keep it, which doesn't happen very often. You make the choice, like she said, to dispose of it, and we'll help you with that if that's necessary, because we do have contacts that have the roll-off bins or can do different things. Or third, we donate it. And one thing that we try to find organizations. Now, we have Sharing Shed up here. I love their stuff, but understand that everybody has their own. My wife and I are both veterans, so we talk about veterans organizations. She has hers. Now, I promise you I will be talking and using them. But one thing that most people overlook, you mentioned clothes. A lot of us don't do clothes. You do some of them. Yes, there's charities out there that need to close, and I always push for this, but one thing that people never think about is your local drama departments. They love clothes because now they can make their costumes. So if you don't think about it, or if you have a private school or a school close to you that has a drama department, those accessories, that jewelry, that costume jewelry, the hats, the shoes, things like that, consider your local school, because that drama department will thank you, thank you, thank you beyond means.
Never thought about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we do not clean out the house after the estate sale, because for us, and I'm not speaking for every estate sale company, but for us, we want arm's length sort of separation from the stuff in the house, your stuff versus what happens to it. We just basically, you're hiring us to go in to liquidate, to sell it. It never becomes, at any time, does it becomes mine at the future, at the end, at whatever. And so we work with a lot of people that we can refer that will come and do the clean out. Some will do buyouts. Charities, we also work with charities that if they don't come and get it, you can drop it off. But we do not provide any clean out or clear out. But a lot of people understand that, and it's amazing too that even though people say at the very beginning, I'm done, I don't want this stuff, even the stuff that is left, and most after the sale, there's not a lot of stuff there. There shouldn't be a lot of stuff there after most sales. But there might be a piece or two, it's like, oh, that didn't sell, I'm going to keep that. But we definitely can help with that service by referring people. And most people, that's how they're doing it today. Years ago, when we started this, 20 years ago, we could call charities and they would almost race each other to get there. I mean, it was like the battle of who's going to show up first. And you could put things, and the trash would take in just about anything, everything. Not now, you got to pay to get rid of stuff. It's a different world. And there's an expense to get rid of things. You are going to pay for a removal one way or another. You just have to realize it's a different world getting rid of things after any type of sale.
And so when I go into people's homes, that's one of the things that I'm learning from working with all of these different people and organizations, who takes what, and what they need. Does it need to be in the garage, on the first floor? There's a lot of things that go into eliminating this stuff. And it's very expensive, very, very expensive to call a company to, 1-800-GOT-JUNK or junk loggers, there's a ton of those business out there. It's expensive, okay? They're driving it to the dump and having to pay disposal fees. And so one of the things is trying to keep your costs, let's get rid of it without it costing you money to have to get rid of it. So learning about what sells, what doesn't sell, what different donations different places take is really, really helpful for me in helping my clients make good choices about eliminating things. So what do your clients, last question before we open it up, what do you give your clients? Is there an accounting of what sells? Real quick, can you each answer that?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have electronic inventory system, point of sale type of system. It would take for us to catalog and log everything. At most sales, it would take a long, long time. So we do not have that. However, what we can do and what we have done if someone, even an attorney for doing an estate sale for a law firm that says, look, I need to show something to the probate. What we can is we can log, and typically it's like any item that sells for $100 or more, we can keep a log for the client. But other than that, we do not have a log system, which is different from the auction process, because they have to have a receipt or a log or a lot number. So that is a difference. Again, it goes back to whoever you work with. You really need to trust them. And as my son has said more than once, not to me, is that you really got to trust the people who count your money and makes your food. And so you got to feel good about those relationships. So that's how we do it.
Tony?
We're going to start with the important part. We pay by cashier's check. And then you're going to get an actual printout. Two things. First, as the auction's going on, we're going to share the link so you can see everything that's listed on the auction. And two, you're going to get a printout of everything that was offered, the price realized, and if it was no sale, it says no sale on it. So everything's accounted for.
Thank you. Leanne?
We provide a list, an itemized list of everything that's sold, along with the price, the whole breakdown, commission, and all of that. We also will help you guys through the process as far as viewing the auction, any questions that you have, changes and concerns and stuff like that. We also pay by cashier's check, so there's a paper trail of everything. And payout is usually about 2 weeks after the auction. I know that Tony touched on this earlier, but the entire process takes about 3 to 4 weeks total, including everything.
And Kathy, how about you guys? Do you get any?
Yes, so if somebody donates items, we do give them a tax receipt that they can use. We just hand them a blank one and then they can fill that in like most.
$9 million.
Right, exactly.
Perfect.
At $9 million mattress.
All right. Okay, guys, we're going to open it up for questions now. Sorry, we always run a little bit over. So, yes, Phyllis.
Okay. You all laugh about the precious moment. As the owner of over 700 pieces.
Wow.
Because I have mine and my mother-in-law's collection. Tomorrow's trash day. Do I start putting them in?
No.
What do I do?
No. They're not worth a lot, but they still will sell, maybe a couple dollars a piece. Don't throw them away. I'm even in a Facebook group called Altered Moments, where people will buy old precious moments and they will add little clay pieces or paint on them to portray maybe their favorite movie characters and kind of modernize them a little bit. So there's a lot of ways to repurpose those things. Definitely don't throw them away. They're just not high value as some might think.
Yes.
20 years ago, we would have sold each one of them individually by the piece. 10 years ago, we would have sold them groups of 5. Now they may be sold in groups of 10. We still are going to pull out the ones that have the value, that are going to stand out by themselves. But everything else, remember I told you earlier, trust how we put it together? That's a perfect example. You may have 700 of them. In all theory, we may end up with 150 lots based on that, but they still will sell. Just have to find the right crowd.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with that real quick. Don't throw them away. There are collectors for anything and everything, and so there are collectors that are still buying, even though like they said, it may be in lots or maybe $2 a piece, but there's probably a buyer out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I want to go back to the dining room set, because I think most of the people in this room were in the dining room set era.
Yeah.
So what do you do with them? You said they don't sell. What do you do with them? How do you get rid of them?
Well, again, for us, we don't carry on, get rid of it, I clean it out or whatever. So they usually, sometimes they'll put it on Craigslist if they want someone to come pick it up, but you gotta be careful of who you have come to your home and that kind of thing. There are sometimes we will sell pieces of a lot of them, like the table and chairs we'll have a good chance of selling. If you have a buffet, if you have something that is smaller piece, what really are the real dinosaurs are the big china hutches, you know, that are in 2 pieces. Those are the ones that are really hard. But a lot of the other pieces, even those big china hutches where the piece comes off and then you've got the base, some people will buy them now, and those are for flat, you know, for their TVs,
Yeah.
are there for their storage and TV.
Coffee bar.
Yeah,
Table
coffee bar.
service.
So you still have the potential of getting rid of it, but to expect someone to come in and buy it all, you know, like you may have done years ago, highly, highly unlikely.
And it goes for very little
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, be expecting
Yeah.
Recently, I know Habitat for Humanity, their Restore in St. Peter's, they are open Wednesday through Saturday, and they will pick up items. I think they do charge, but they were taking hutches. They may not be anymore, but I know like a month ago or so, they were taking hutches, but that would be as a donation, and you would have to pay a little bit for them to pick it up.
Yes.
Go ahead, finish your question.
Good, yep. In the green. Sorry, I can't see your name tag.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
nobody has mentioned what is the fee that you charge to your clients?
Okay.
Is it a percentage?
Less than $1 million.
Great.
Less than $1 million.
So it's definitely on a scale basis. I take a percentage of commission, and it varies case to case. But to answer your dining room hutch question, I try to appraise it and try to get a fair value first. And then if it doesn't sell on the auction, I will list it on Facebook Marketplace. It's already in my possession at the warehouse. So I'll list it on Marketplace and try to get maybe $45 for it or something like that, so that we still make something versus having to pay for a removal of it. But I give it a fair shot first, but our goal is to sell.
Fees, what do you charge?
Now, based on fees, we charge a scale based on the asset that you have. There's certain levels, but we also charge a buyer's premium, which allows us to keep our fees down because the buyer pays some of the cost. So, for example, we charge a 12% buyer's premium. If somebody buys an item for $100, they're going to pay $112. You're still going to get your full commission out of that. We get ours plus the buyer's premium, allows us to work for you cheaper because the buyers pay for the convenience.
We charge a percentage, and the typical percentage for the estate sale world that I'm in this area that I'm pretty much aware of now. I don't know but I'm just going to give you a range. It could be starting at a 30% percentage up to 50%, which could be, you know, some sales that are on the higher side. If it's going to take a lot of time and staff, it might be a higher percentage. But I would say companies that you are probably worth sort of considering are going to fall anywhere between the 30 to 50. Nationally, and I haven't looked recently, but last time I looked nationally, they were going 50+% nationally.
So you said 30%.
In this
30%
five-state area.
goes to the.
30% to the estate sale,
Okay.
and then
Thank you.
70% to the client.
Thank you.
Clarify that. Anytime.
The split.
Anytime, let's clarify that real quick. Anytime you're talking to a auction professional, an estate sale professional, when they mention the percent that they are getting or that they charge, that is their percentage. So if this is not in any way, shape, or form my number, but if I say 25%, that means you're getting 75%. Understand that up front, anywhere across the board, regardless of who you're talking about, if they say commission rate of any type, it is what that company is keeping.
Tina?
My question is for Jeff. Your title says you're an appraiser.
Yes.
I have a lot of high-end jewelry and some paintings. I don't know if they're worth anything, paintings. So are you a licensed appraiser for those? types?
Well, it's not a license, it's a certification. My wife and I went through the process of becoming a certified personal property appraisers. And so that's the reason why that's referred to as appraisers. And so that, yes, we do provide that service. A lot of other companies will be able to do that as well, especially if they have, you know, maybe a certification or some other kind of training for that. So, yes.
Now, the things that you are wanting to keep, but have not removed from the home, what do you do with those?
Well, okay. But I hear a lot of times, the ideal situation, of course, from an on-site in the home estate sale is that the client would have everything they want to keep out of the house. Or, you know, sometimes they'll put a pod on their driveway and they'll put it in, you know, and store it there. If they have a big enough home that they have a fourth bedroom or a third bedroom and they can put everything in there, you know, you can do that. But ideally, the client needs to be removed from the home, not living in it, or at least, you know, not during the week of the setup for the sale. We've done a lot of sales with that situation over the years, and it is just hard for both parties, the company and the client, because it's just a change of life for whatever period of time. Well, we've had people, and you know, they could stay maybe with a friend. They've gone to hotels, motels.
So when we do this, that is something that we're completely evaluating and talking to you about. What is the situation? Where are you going to be living?
Yeah.
And that can really be the determining factor of how we're going, you know, which direction we're going to go with eliminating your things. So somebody had a question in the back. Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of silver-plated platters that were my mother's, and what can we do with those?
I meant to mention that earlier. Silver plate, unfortunately, is not as popular as it once was. We do polish it up and take the best pictures as possible, but it's basically valued at scrap value. Unless you find one rare person who buys it for its beauty, but it definitely does not have near as much value as sterling.
You could try taking it to Alton, to the auction, antique people, and sell it to them.
So for us to answer that question, the best way that we found to do this is we personally take anything stainless steel, sterling silver, jewelry, or anything like that to a certified jeweler. We have found out that we will let them identify it, weigh it, and target it and show us what it is. They also create for us a base price that they will buy it at that price. By doing this, it creates trust for your buyers and your bidders that are looking. When we put it on there that says certified, weighed, verified, and certified by an independent third party, so when it comes back to us, we know exactly what it was. I would do the same thing for you. Take those into any type of store. Take those into a regular jeweler. Don't go to a pawn shop. Understand that, please, please, please. I love pawn shops. I hate pawn shops. It's a definite need in the society, but don't take your stuff in to get appraised. Take it to an actual jeweler, and 90% of the jewelers out here especially, don't go to the major chains. Don't go to like K's or those big ones. Take it to a small jeweler. They'll be happy to help you.
Okay.
And then what?
Then call us and we'll tell you how the best way to market is based on what they say.
Okay.
Okay. There was another question back there? No? Okay, sir?
You sell my table saw online, now what happens?
You get paid. Now,
Are you gonna come and get it?
so here's the difference between the three of us. They've taken it out of your house to their location. He sells it in your house on the day of. We sell it. We gave you two options. If we're in your house, my auction staff's there personally. We schedule pickup. We know exactly when people are coming. They'll come, they pick up. Once they pay us, they load it, they get it out of there. Once it's done, we send to that cashier's check. Or I prefer to hand it to you in person unless I have to.
Diane?
This may sound petty, but I'm sure I'm not alone. If you come to my house and I take you to my basement, my 42 Rubbermaid containers, do I need to have that all upstairs and spread out, or how do you do that?
No, I I personally love basements full of boxes and treasures inside. But no, we're fully equipped to look through stuff and to figure it out with you. You don't have to do any labor, heavy lifting, any of that.
Then I plan on having a Rubbermaid sale.
And that will do well. That will do well because they are expensive.
Everybody needs
I
those.
had a garage sale years ago, and I had a couple of college students asking me if I had Rubbermaids for sale,
Yep.
so I know there's a market.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
There is for sure. I'll buy some from you. I can always use more.
You can always use
They've gone up in value quite a
So,
bit.
I don't know about them, but I will tell you, probably 80% of the time, I've already determined if I'm taking the auction based on what's upstairs. When I get to the basement, unless you specifically tell me that you've got totes of trains or you've got totes of this or that, I'm taking everything downstairs as a bonus to help you. Because we're gonna go through, we're gonna touch everything, we're gonna go through everything, but I've already made my decision based on your garage, your house, and how our connection is.
I have an ex-husband that has trains, baseball memorabilia.
Don't throw anything out.
And I'm his executioner. Again, I'm sorry.
That's not the first time I've heard that,
Also, I have another question. Do we have to display stuff? Do you have people come in to buy tables and things like that?
Here's what you're getting from us, or from probably just most of the estate sale in the home. But here's what I like to tell people. Once you have whatever it is that you want out of the house or out of sight, you are done. You can go to Florida, you can do whatever you want, you are done. Because we're gonna come in, we're gonna bring in our tables, cases if we need cases. We're gonna rearrange everything, we're gonna take things out of tubs and totes and dresser
Cabinets,
drawers and
Put it on display.
and we're gonna display it, research it, price it, we're gonna take all those pictures and then conduct a sale. I have to tell you, we have done a lot of sales. I have never seen the client, in person, face to face. We've talked on the phone, talked to their attorney, they give us access to the home and we do our thing. So no, you're paying for that service. You don't have to clean anything. Some people want to clean dishes, they want to clean clothes, wash. No. I'll tell you, it's funny, the psychology of, and even your setup, even if you have a house that's not real big for all the stuff that you have in the house, and sometimes you have to let people kind of dig through the totes, they love it. It's called a digger sale. They love it, and they feel like they're digging for treasures. And if it's got a little dust on it, they like it because they feel like why would you want to buy something you can buy at Marshall's, brand new, where you can get it at a estate sale, you found it. We've had people at some of our, what we call the digger sales, we open at 9 and we have to tell them that we're leaving at 3 o'clock. That's how long. So don't fret over that.
I have dreams about finding treasure, so. All right, guys, we are over time. So real quick, I want to mention our next month's seminar, February 26th. We're going to be here for the rest of the year, okay? It's on reverse mortgages. And we're going to have a special guest. Tom Selleck is coming. Does anybody want to come? I'm just teasing. It's not Tom Selleck, but there is a lot of bad information about reverse
It's his
mortgages. So
mustache.
I really encourage you. What did you say?
It's not Tom Selleck, it's his mustache.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good uses for that, so I really encourage you to consider coming to that. And then our March 1 is going to be 55 plus new and local senior living options. So guys, thanks for coming. Don't forget about the Shearing Shed, another great organization. It feels good to donate to people that need it. So thank you for what you guys do. How about a round of applause for all of our panelists? Thank you guys very much.